The Chicago Bulls take down the Brooklyn Nets 124-102. We're going to be talking about the key takeaways from tonight's win. And so before we go ahead and we jump into it, I first want to remind you to slam dunk on that subscribe button, just like Modest Buzelis slam dunks in games. And so in exchange for slamming on that subscribe button, I'm going to give you nothing but daily content around the Chicago Bulls. And so make sure that you hit that like, you hit that subscribe, and you join the Chicago Bulls Insider family as we talk nothing but Chicago Bulls basketball. And so with that being said, let's go ahead and let's jump into it as we are talking about the key takeaways from tonight's win against the Brooklyn Nets. And so I always like to start with the theme of the game, which is just points that describe what we saw. And so I just have one. Really, the Bulls dominated this game. I think that they came out and they started off very well. I think besides the one moment where they were not doing a great job as far as closing out, but once they fixed that on defense, they pretty much took off. And so the Bulls went on a nice little 10-0 run early to get up by 14 points. They probably had, I think, one of their best first quarters of the season, scoring 39 points. They had 7 players that was in double figures. They got outscored on the bench 49-45, but still put up 45 points off the bench. You love that. And they only had 4 turnovers in the first half. And so the Bulls just took care of business in this game. And so next, just looking at the starters and the bench. And so just taking a look at each player. And so starting with the player that really had it going for the Chicago Bulls, and that was Coby White. And so Coby White started off the game 3 of 3 from downtown. He had 16 points in the first half. He would finish the first half with 5 3-pointers, and he had, I believe, a season high in threes. And so Coby White, he was feeling it today. You could tell he had the confidence, and just he was in the flow. And so 24 points, a plus 16 in the plus minus box score, 2 steals. He had 3 assists. He had 4 rebounds. He was 1 of 1 from the free throw line and 7 of 11 from downtown and 8 of 14 from the field in 30 minutes. And so, again, Coby White looked very good out there. Some of the stuff he was doing, I mean, he was coming off of handoffs. He was hitting them with step backs and just all kinds of stuff. And so you love to see this with Coby White. And I do think that we're probably going to see some more of that, especially once he starts to get into rhythm. But today he shot the basketball with a lot of confidence. And so Coby White had it going today. And so next, looking at the next player that I think had a good day for us today, and that was Nikola Vucevic. And so Vooch, I think he attacked the paint a lot, and I love seeing that. And so he's been doing that lately. And so 17 points in this game, a plus 20 in the plus minus box score. He had 6 assists. He had a block shot, and he also had 11 rebounds as well. And so he was 1 of 7 from deep, 8 of 18 from the field in 28 minutes. And so I think a lot of the shots that you saw that he missed from deep is just him settling. But when he was going to the rim today, he was getting it done. He also had a very nice block shot. And I love his blow-by dunk as well. He just, at the top of the key, just a quick show and go, and he went right past, I believe it was Sharp, and just dunked there. And so a nice play from Vooch. I think at one point he was 6 of 9 inside the 3-point line. And so you love seeing that, like 14 points in the paint at one point as well. So I'm not sure what he finished with, but still Vooch, very effective from inside today. And so next with Modest Buzelis. And so with Modest Buzelis, I thought that Modest Buzelis just continues to show the flashes and just continues to show that he is taking a step forward here in year number 2, because once again, he is at the 15-point mark. And so you see that he finished with 17 points in this game. He was a plus 15 in the plus minus box score. He did have the 2 turnovers, the 2 block shots, the 5 assists in this game. He had 5 rebounds. He was 2 of 2 from the free throw line and 3 of 6 from deep, 6 of 13 from the field in 27 minutes. And so what I liked about Modest Buzelis is he had like a pretty nice sequence. I believe there was like one possession or 2 possessions where he actually hit a couple threes. And so it was 1 from the corner, 1 from the top of the key. He had the very nice block shots. He had a very nice left-hand layup as well. He had a nice cutting to the basket dunk as well. And so that's something that we talked about with Modest Buzelis, is that, he's finding ways to get it done off ball. And I just think at some point one of the things that Modest Buzelis is going to have to do, and this is mentioned in the broadcast as well, is just learn how to back down a player, get to the turnaround in his mid-range and stuff like that. And so once he gets a little bit more of that into his bag, he is going to be a tough player to stop. And so that was Montes Buzelis right there, knocking down some three-point shots today. And so good efforts from him today. The next, Isaac Okoro. And so with Isaac Okoro, I liked what I saw from him. And the one thing that I'm thinking about with him was just toughness. And so Isaac Okoro, he had a very nice, tough layup late in this game. But I love the fact that he responded well when he just went through a tough situation, because he was going around a screen, and I believe it was from Sharp there of the Nets, and he got hit in the face. He kind of ran into his shoulder or whatnot, but he was able to get back into the game and continue on. And so Isaac Okoro showing his toughness out there. And so I love seeing that after he ran into Day'Ron Sharp out there. And so he had 9 points. He was a +6 in the plus-minus box score. He had 2 assists, 6 rebounds. He also had 3 of 4, or he was 3 of 4 from the free throw line. He was 0 of 2 from deep and 3 of 6 from the field. And then next, Jalen Smith. And so with Jalen Smith, I continue to be impressed with what we're seeing from him. And so he had another double-double. So 12 points, 10 rebounds, a +16 in the plus-minus box score, 2 steals in this game. He didn't have any blocks, but he was 2 of 4 from downtown and 5 of 8 from the field in 31 minutes. And so, look, we're loving to see this from Jalen Smith, a player that it's just surprising that he didn't even play in some games last season. And so I'm glad to see that he's getting the minutes. And also, too, I love the fact that Billy Donovan is actually utilizing the double big lineup. And so that is key as well with what we saw today, is that he started today and again played very well next to Nikola Vucevic. And so Jalen Smith making the most of his minutes. And so next, talking about the bench. And so starting with, I think, the biggest player off the bench for us, and that was Ayo Dosunmu. I thought that we saw another great performance from Ayo Dosunmu. And man, he continues to have really a career year. Like, he is shooting the basketball extremely well from deep. And so 19 points, a +22 in the plus-minus box score. Didn't have any turnovers today. He had 1 block. He had 1 steal. He had the 5 assists as well, and 5 of 8 from deep, 7 of 14 from the field in 30 minutes. And so he had some good highlights. Like, there was one play where he went through 3 nets and got to the layup there. And then also, too, him and Tre Jones were working very well. We're going to talk about that in a moment. So he had like a nice little high-low layup from Tre Jones. And so, man, these guys went to work once they got into the game. And so Ayo Dosunmu, a very strong performance. And so next, speaking of another player that played well off the bench, was Tre Jones. And so Tre Jones didn't start for us today, but man, Tre Jones had some highlights too. And so 10 points in this game, 2 steals. He had 10 assists. He was 0 of 1 from deep and 5 of 7 from the field in 24 minutes. And so what I loved about Tre Jones today, and just really his efforts, is that you continue to see, why he is, I think, maybe one of the best free agent signings off this last offseason, because you see the basketball IQ and the awareness to find players. I just talked about the high-low action that he had with Ayo Dosunmu, and the tough, crafty layups that he continues to hit, and just the ability to just, as he's going up in the air, to use the rim to shield himself. Like, man, it's just that type of basketball IQ on the fly, and you're seeing it. And so Tre Jones, man, another good game off the bench, and just another good game in general. And so, that was 2 of our top performers off the bench. And so next, just talking about some of the other players here. And so Dalen Terry did get into the game. He knocked down a late 3-point shot. As you can see, 3 points. He was 1 of 2 from the field in 6 minutes. Lachlan Ubrick did get into the game along with Julian Phillips. Javon Carter knocked down a shot as well. And then Kevin Huerter. And so with Kevin Huerter, the 11 points in this game, a +9. He had 5 rebounds, 6 assists. He was 5 of 9 from the field in 30 minutes. And so with Kevin Huerter, what I liked about him is that there were some good basketball plays that he made as well. Like one of his plays where he actually gets the ball and he throws it down down the court to Tre Jones, and you got to give him a lot of credit for just tracking down the basketball and finding it and getting to a layup. And so just those type of high basketball IQ plays and just not letting the defense get set up. And so I like seeing that. He didn't necessarily have it going as much from deep. That does continue to be a struggle for him, but still making some good plays out there and solid across the board. And so now I wanted to go ahead and talk about the team box score and just take a look at some of the key stats out of that. And so we've already talked about the Bulls and the fact that they had 45 points off the bench, and then also too they had 7 players that were in double figures. But I also have to give the Bulls a lot of credit for what they did with the turnovers today. And so the fact that the Bulls kept the turnovers down, like I think that was huge. And so just bringing that up now, they only had 9 turnovers in this game. And so that is very huge because, this team has struggled with turnovers at times. I just talked about the fact that they only had 4 in the first half. And so just 9 today in this game. Then also too, you see that the Brooklyn Nets there did lead as far as the turnovers. And so 11 for them. You see the block shots 5-4 for the Bulls, 8-4 for the steals. The Bulls lead in that category, 41-33. I thought that this was another telling stat, for this team, is that they were able to move the basketball and get players into position to get some scores today. And so they did a great job there. As far as the field goal percentage, 52-46, the Bulls lead there. And the free throw percentage, 6 of 9 for the Bulls, 10 of 15 for the Nets. And so got to do better there as far as knocking down those shots, but 67% for both teams. 44-38, the Bulls lead in the rebounds, and then 58-40 with points in the paint. I thought that the Bulls did a great job as far as getting downhill all night in this game. 27-2 was their best or their largest lead in this game. And so the Bulls taking care of business against the Brooklyn Nets. You guys let me know in the comments here what you guys are thinking as the Bulls take care of the Brooklyn Nets. They will have the Los Angeles Clippers coming up. We'll be talking about that. And also, too, we will continue to talk about the continuous trade rumors as they come out as the NBA trade deadline approaches. And so anyway, you guys let me know as far as your key takeaways from tonight's win. And as we always say, go Bulls, and I will see you on the next one. All right, peace.